So this is the before, or what the material that we're going to be using looks like. 100% cotton is most effective for masks. For pattern making, I used wrapping paper and made sure that I had a rectangle that measured the distance from ear to ear horizontally and the distance from nose to chin vertically. Then I folded it in half and decided that the left side was going to be the nose to chin measurements and the right side was going to be the ear to chin measurements. Ear to chin is a smaller distance, so that's why I moved the measuring tape down to my ear to chin measurements. Then I drew a slight curved line to connect the nose to ear measurements, which is the part that covers your cheeks, the ones on your face, of course. And then I drew smaller curved lines to make the nose to chin curve. The curve creates that round area covering your nose, allowing you to breathe, and much gives you space because no one has a flat face. Then I just cut the markings I just made and unfolded the wrapping paper to get ready to tape. Now, I use Dollar General tape, but you can use whatever tape your heart desires. Once I had it taped, I opened it up to see the round area and got it ready to try it on. Now here's me trying on the mask pattern, looking crazy with the Santa wrapping paper on my face and wild hair all over the place, bars. I turned my head to the side and to the other side and up and down to show you how it framed my face. And now this is where I took my old shirt and used my pattern to cut out the pieces for the mask. I only used one sleeve because I plan on using this for a future project, so stay tuned for that. I made sure the pattern was secured onto the fabric using pins. Once it was secured, I cut out the fabric, leaving some extra space on there for seam allowance. Then I flipped it and flipped it again to make sure that the pretty sides are facing each other. Once that was as even as it was going to get, I moved on to cutting the other side of the mask using my black shirt. The reason I'm making two sides is because it will filter the air that you breathe better than just having one layer, which is kind of the point of wearing and making these masks. As you can see, I'm just continuing to do what I did to the first material. Then I pinned the nose to chin curve on both pieces, preparing them for sewing. I sew these pieces starting from the top, which is the nose area, to the bottom, which is the chin area. I made sure I followed the curve and not just straight down because, again, no one has a flat face. Once the first piece was done, I unfolded it, checking the seam, and then put it aside so that I could sew the second piece. Different angle. I made sure I backstitch in the beginning and in the end, securing the thread so that it doesn't unravel later. Once both pieces were done, I put them both together, again, making sure the pretty sides were facing each other. The store was out of regular elastic, so I used headbands, the skinny black one. Oh, and here's some ASMR for you. So here you can see me measuring my ear holder cuffs, whatever you want to call them, making sure that they fit the ear to chin measurements on the outside of the pieces. I then flip the pieces so you can see the ear straps. There we go, so you can see the ear straps better. I put them inside so that when I sew the perimeter of the pieces, I sew the ends of the ear straps to those pieces. I then pinned those ear straps in place, top and bottom, and got the pieces ready to sew. After pinning the rest of the material, I sewed the perimeter of it, making sure that I backstitched in the beginning once I got to the ends of the ear straps, 4 ends in total, and then the end of the fabric. I also left a 2 inch gap where I didn't sew so that I could flip the material inside out. I made sure to backstitch when I left the opening and where I started back sewing after the opening. Okay, so I just showed you where I left the gap for the opening, and now you can see I just start to flip it inside out. This part I kind of struggled with, as you can see. I tried to shake it to get it to flip it, but it was not working with me. But eventually I got it to flip. Once I grabbed the ear straps, the mask was way easier to flip right side out. I then stuck my finger through the opening so I could push out the edges, focusing on the nose point. Then I pinned the opening so that I could close it like my campus closing because of Corona, and show you where you can sew to finish the mask. You can sew around the perimeter again, including the opening, but it was almost 5 a.m. and I was tired and lazy, and at that point I just decided to close it by sewing by hand. It may seem like it would take more time, but honestly, I did it pretty fast, I think. It was kind of soothing to just sit there and listen to music while finishing up. Plus, I didn't want that line of thread on the outside, so I didn't use the machine for sewing around the perimeter again. Don't mind the visible thread. I tried looping the thread while sewing for extra security, but some thread got caught before I could finish pulling the thread through. But here you have it, a finished cloth surgical mask, I guess. I added a pleat on each side after this, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Guys, I'm leaving. I'm so sad. I don't want to go. But I'm leaving. Here's how the masks turn out. Yes, so I'm gonna go check my mail and then turn in the paperwork, and I'm gone.